right, we're back for another episode of the Cheap Seats. Feels like it's been a little while, pal. Well, lots happened in the past few weeks since we recorded.
Especially the last couple days.
Crazy. So luckily we had this pod on the books, but, we're in the middle of a whole bunch of different things right now. So, you
What
want
did
to just
you
dive in, or what do you think?
what did you think when you saw that text message from me in our baseball chat about Devers? Did you think I was joking?
So that's the thing, right? That's probably the big thing we'll probably start at the top with. I did not think you were joking. I was actually not surprised just because of the way he handled the potential move from third base to first base. It just seemed like he wasn't a team guy, at least this year in this moment. And I wasn't surprised that they traded him. I'm surprised what they got for him, but I'm not surprised that they traded for him. What'd you think?
I wonder if you lost a little bit of leverage if you were the Red Sox when you negotiated his 10-year deal. Where it kind of made him a spoiled brat. You sort of botched the Betts trade. A bunch of guys from that 18 team just sort of disappeared, and you were just making him the guy. Obviously, there's a little bit of a language barrier there. It doesn't seem like he's a hard worker. He comes in out of shape every year.
Yeah.
So it was almost like I'm looking at it from a spoiled brat perspective with this kid. Was he a spoiled brat?
I mean, he might have been. So he's year 3 of a 10-year, $313 million contract, $250 million left on it. Since Poppy left, he does seem like he's the guy that's the face of the Red Sox, but not really loved the same way. He's like that last tie to previous World Series championships, but I don't know.
Coming into this pod, I was like, what are some of my bigger points going to be about this? And then I saw that tweet from Poppy that I shared with you over text.
Mm-hmm.
When David Ortiz is ripping into you, that's there's something there, because Ortiz was a big taking everything serious type, but like obviously Ortiz likes to have fun. So in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, if you're pissing Ortiz off, you're really not giving an effort.
Definitely. Let me read what Ortiz said. So
Okay.
Ortiz's quote was, "You employees, go against the check signer. See if you're going to last 2 days. I did everything they told me to, and today I'm earning a lifetime salary from the Red Sox, and everyone there loves me." So I think it's like Poppy thinks like once you take that $313 million contract, like you need to do what the Red Sox say at that point, right? You're
Yes.
their guy. So you're
Yes.
getting all that money, like make it happen, and I think Devers had a quote like, when they asked him to go to first base from third base, like, I know I'm a ball player, but what do they expect me to play every position? It's like, yeah, dude, you're getting paid $313 million. And, like, you're a professional baseball player. Like, it's first base. I mean, I know these guys are all professional and these positions are tough, but, like, dude, you could figure out first base. And they need you when Cassis went down. So, I don't know. To me, my thoughts on it. I was, like, out on Devers as soon as that happened. But
I respected it. Well, okay, so let's look at why maybe things went south. I looked up some stats. He was minus 46 in defensive runs saved. So this is starting in 2019 up until the trade. So that was 72nd of 75 qualifiers. So that's actually terrible. He led the league in errors, 103 errors over that period, most in the Major League Baseball, but by 6, and he's the only third baseman on the list. So everybody else is a shortstop. So if you're the Red Sox, and I guess I want to go back to like this contract and the negotiation and the Mookie Betts thing, like the Red Sox were not in a position of power when they negotiated that. They probably told him, you're going to be their third baseman for 10 years. Here's your pile of money. And it obviously entitled him, Randy, right?
mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you're the Red Sox, you're looking at these defensive numbers, it's not good. It's really not good.
So, he was a liability out there.
It's terribly so, and he had to have seen it too. So you take this route if you're Devers, where it's like head in the sand. I'm a spoiled brat. I'm getting paid. No, I'm better than what I think I am. And the reality is he knew he was not. So Bregman coming on the team, not a surprise, and actually it was a really good addition. It bums me out. He's hurt right now, but here's sort of what you're going to miss. And I hate that this all sort of ended with him being shipped out, because look at these numbers. 184 bombs since 2019. That's 8th in the league. 235 doubles. That's 2nd. 965 hits. That's tied for fourth. And the hard hit balls number they have is 1349. That's second in the league. So you're losing a big bat with this guy going. So it sucks. He had to go. That's my opinion. He had to go, but man, what are you missing? That's a ton of production.
It's funny with him going to San Fran. Where do you think he plays on the field? Because there's no DH position in the NL. He's going to play freaking first base. And it's like, they're going to stick him in right field. They're not going to put him at third base. They can't. It's either right field or first base. And then it's just like, dude, you should have just played first base for us. Shut your mouth.
I was trolling X for a little bit before we hopped on, and I don't know if it was a joke or not, but I think he was working out at third base.
Really?
He's a first baseman now. Like, shut up, grab your first baseman glove, snag a couple of shit throws from second and short. You know what I mean?
That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, sorry.
So, okay. Well, then it'll be interesting to see how that plays out at third base for them because, again, he is a liability. So I'm sure it's not – he's getting a first base, whether it's this year or next year or whenever it is happening. It's just too bad it didn't work out for him with the Red Sox. Do you know that we're playing San Fran in a few days?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? He's gonna come back and just absolutely tear the cover off the ball while he commits like 3 different errors. I want to ask you a question about this before we sort of wrap it up. I didn't like the compensation. Anytime that you get a couple minor leaguers, you're always sort of in this projection mode. I didn't like them. I didn't like the arms that we got.
Can we talk about who they are real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
So Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks are the pro prospects. The minors guys are James Tibbs III and Jose Bello. So, yeah, it sounds like we did not get a good return. And I don't know if it's because there wasn't a good return to be had. And, I don't know how much the Red Sox shopped Devers or if this was just the thing that fell in their lap and they went with. But I don't know. They definitely did not capitalize in terms of players back.
It seems like, from what I've read, is that Cora wasn't even privy to it because they were concerned that Cora was going to try to talk them out of it. This was completely Breslow doing his thing, the ownership obviously enabling it, and that's what they got. So I guess where I'm going with this is how do you have a Luka trade and now a Devers trade where your perception is these are really good players leaving your teams and the compensation coming back is just so garbage. So why are we all of a sudden, and this is my question, why are we all of a sudden only negotiating with one team and worried about the perception of the period of negotiation where you overlook that, but you're okay with getting killed in these trades and disappointing your fan base in that area? It doesn't make any sense to me.
So one thing I don't know, and you might know more than me, is if the Red Sox truly only shopped one team. Like with the Luka trade, I think it makes sense to equate the two because it really is kind of a blockbuster, unexpected trade where, there's one team that's definitely losing in terms of the best player leaving. But like with the Dallas trade, we know that they only shopped him to the Lakers. Like that's a known thing, makes zero sense. But you could at least sell it as like, well, they're getting AD back. AD is good. He's obviously a little bit older and has some health issues. But like, say you really didn't like Luka's style of play and you wanted to run it with AD and Kyrie and see what happens and put some pieces together. Like, you can at least sell that. With the Devers trade, I don't know if they sold it to multiple teams. And there's definitely not an aspect of getting anything back. It seems to me that they're clearing the books to either make a profit or my hope would be to spend some money on some additional players, but it doesn't seem like the Red Sox do that really nowadays outside of like the Bregman and Crochet signings.
We have a hole at first base, so you wonder if they're actually going to use that money to sort of work on that situation right now with Cassis out. Circling back around to Luka and the compensation thing, Desmond Bain just got traded from Memphis to Orlando. And
what do you get, 4 first-round picks?
Yeah, dude, you just nailed it. Like, in the Luka trade, they only got 1 first-round draft pick? Like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Makes no sense. And then, of course, freaking Dallas gets the first pick in the draft, and they're going to be bailed out by that, but they don't deserve it. I mean, their fans do, but they don't as an organization.
This circles in the area for me because we have so much information now. We have X, we have beat writers, we have guys saying they're insulated in a certain area, some of these beat writers, where they can actually say what they're thinking and what they perceive is like the office process. I How are you this bad, I guess? And I think it's just these guys are billionaire owners. These sports teams, for most of them, are just like whatever. They still make money, right? Regardless of what products out there. It's just crazy to me that a Luka trade happens, a Devers trade happens, and that's the compensation. Sorry, I'm saying the same
But,
thing multiple
but
times,
yeah, I
but
mean, they have basically $25-30 million off the books now. And that goes in their pockets or whatever. You just don't know which. It seems like sometimes these owners are all in, ready to spend money, like the Celtics, but then they're just like, whoa, to a point, this is getting a little bit crazy, and then this guy's
yeah.
kind of annoying, and he's not a team player. It's like, okay, boom, see you later. I mean, I hope the other shoe hasn't dropped, and this is part one of a two-part, three-part sequence of events over the next 6 to 12 months, but I guess we'll see.
Are the Red Sox? Do you remember when we let go of Hanley Ramirez and then later that year we end up winning a World Series in
Yeah.
2018? Like everybody ripped on that move so big at that time, and this Devers move is getting ripped like it should. But there's a bunch of talent behind the scenes here. Like we have a bunch of young guys worth being excited for. I love that Roman Anthony's playing now. I mean, Jesus, Randy, the bat on this kid,
Yeah.
it's rather impressive. So I'm hoping, is this the move that sort of kind of kicks these young guys into gear and all of a sudden we have something fun to watch? Addition, by subtraction type thing. I guess only time will tell.
It will, but I'm hopeful for that. Again, I was a guy that was like, get him out of here. I'm all set. Like, don't need people like that on my team. Like, imagine if Edelman back in the day would have been like, Bill, I'm actually a quarterback. I'm gonna play receiver, but I want nothing to do with playing D back. Like no, freaking Edelman stepped in, played defensive back for a whole season, and was awesome. And any of those Patriots guys over the 20-year Belichick Brady run would have done anything to make the team better. So anytime someone like Devers does the crap that he did, like it's an issue for me. So see you later, man. Addition by subtraction.
Are the red you just brought up Bill Belichick and it had me thinking between Bill, Clora, Missoula, and a couple guys hanging out and the front office guys. Did some of these other teams outside of the Red Sox, outside of the Pats, sort of adopt Bill's philosophy on free agency and how he negotiates contracts? It had me thinking real quick about the Mookie Betts, John Lester thing. Was that a Bill influenced thing for a different front office? I know that I'm randomly pivoting here, but like I've looked at what the Red Sox have done from this conversation backwards with some of their negotiations. I don't think it's been pretty.
You know, the way Belichick managed and everything about the way he interacted with the press it's all something that has rubbed off on other teams. So there's no doubt it's had an influence.
Yep. So I guess we'll see
So
what happens.
we will, and it's too bad. So the Red Sox now, just to kind of pivot to some Red Sox talk, like the Red Sox are 38 and 36. I mean, they are fourth in the AL East. They have a 6-game winning streak. They just freaking swept the Yankees. So there is like a lot to be excited about.
Yep.
We'll see where it goes today, I guess.
Big baseball guy still?
I am not less of a baseball guy because of this. I know we have some friends, and hey, it's actually funny because I was texting with Veer about 15 minutes ago. I'm like, hey, can you surprise Beds with me on the podcast? And he can't. He has a phone call. But I would have loved to have Veer come on with like the total opposite take of what I have on the Devers trade. He hates it. He's out. He said he's taking the week off from the Red Sox. So, so for me, like no difference. But I know for some people, they're just like, screw the Red Sox.
And I could be Veer in this equation. Like, I understand where he's coming from because, like, you look at some of the guys that are in the league from the last couple of years that we've let go, Evaldi, a couple other starting pitchers. I mean, I was listening to On the Pike Pod the other day. It's like, see, these like subtle little moves that we've made the last few years, a lot of them have been very bad. The Chris Sale trade, like a baseball purist like Veer who's just grinding, waiting for these, these lower level minor leaguers to turn into what they are now. Like, this is, I mean, I don't blame him for being angry. I just,
Yeah. I
sorry.
appreciate his point of view because it's different than mine, and it's hey, he's a Devers guy, and he's all in on a lot of different aspects of the Red Sox than I am. So I value what he has to say, but as far as just moving the needle in a negative way for me, I'm not. I'm happy more than anything.
It's so funny. I want to be in love with the Red Sox again. I used to loving the Red Sox.
It has been fun caring and following them on a night to night basis, and and just throwing it on Nesson just to see whatever's going on in the moment. I mean, life is insane right now, but like it's been fun to follow it parallel to everything else going on.
So
Okay, Sox talk. So we will revisit this in a month from now, see what happened. Devers will probably be in the IL, and it'll be a moot point at that point.
Sox 15 games over 500, no big deal.
Love it, dude. They're going to go on a run, man. That was a huge, huge stretch against the Yankees. Like, we got their number so far. I love it.
Yeah, and I mean we took some from the Rays, which was huge. We took that series, so
I mean, we're fourth in the AL East, but it's not like it's everything. I mean, there's still a lot of baseball to be played. Okay, I'm going to move on to the NBA Finals, if that's okay with you.
let's dominate.
So, NBA Finals. All right, we just had Game 5 last night. OKC won, and they're up 3-2, going back to Indiana. Halliburton looks like he's hurt. Calf
Yeah.
injury. Did the Pacers give the Thunder their best shot, and now it's just going to be the Thunder in 6? Or what are your thoughts?
When it was 2-1 Indiana, I made a comment to a buddy that OKC was about to Golden State the 2022 Boston Celtics. And I'm a game away from that prediction being right. So did I actually say it? You could question that, but OKC's the better team. Indiana, Indiana's really well. I love the way that team is built. I love the way they play. I love the way they share the ball. I love how at different points in a game they have guys sort of punching above their weight. You root for that, but it's at the end of the day, I think it's the Isaiah Thomas led Celtics sort of thing. It's fun to watch, but OKC's better. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I mean, they have been better all year. I mean, everyone's had them as the favorite to win the finals for months and months and months. So it just seems like the better team. I mean, who knows what'll happen, but it does seem like the better team will prevail. Most likely, I wouldn't be surprised if it went back to OKC, especially with Halliburton. I mean, Halliburton had 4 points last night. Like his calf is an issue, and it seems like he is the guy that they need. Despite how like Siakam's been playing awesome too, but like Halliburton is like the guy. They really need him at 100%. So just the better team will win, and it's funny that you bring back that freaking series. I was so hopeful of that Celtics series. And
Yeah.
we were up 2-1, and then Steph went Steph, and yeah, the rest is history. I think it's a great comparison.
Steph might have got into my top 10 area for all time players after that series. Like anytime you have a guy, every time he shoots and you're scared to death of the ball going in, that's an all time great. OKC, though, Randy, going back to them, we watched the Celtics build up to where they are right now. And of course, with every sort of good run and good luck, being able to draft Tatum, being able to draft Brown, having the sort of the assets to be able to make, the Drew Holiday trade, the Zingish trade, we could go on and on.
Mhm.
And sprinkle in the fact that they've had some really good drafts from like 20 on Pritchard, just to name one, Hauser. Actually, he was a free agent, but OKC has a treasure chest of assets. Like I enjoy the team building stuff just as much
Yeah,
as watching it. The Celtics, the run Danny Ainge had was beautiful. Some bad luck with Hayward. Now we got some bad luck with Tatum, but man, OKC has what I think is probably 2 to 3 times more assets impressively over what I thought the Celtics did for a good job leading up to where we are in this
yeah.
conversation. OKC could be there for a little while.
That trade for Shea. I mean, so Shea was part of the Paul George trade. I think
Yes.
that OKC got Shea, got a couple other players, and a whole bunch of draft picks just for Paul George, who
Yeah.
has not done anything really since the trade. I mean, he had some okay seasons in Los Angeles, but now he's in Philly and he missed most of the season. So that was an awesome trade. Besides the fact they had a bunch of pieces that they've been building over the past few years, and I actually hear that OKC is a legit contender for Giannis. If anyone was going to trade for Giannis, like they have the pieces to trade for Giannis. So
Yeah.
I don't know how it would all shake out, but imagine adding him with Shea and some of the other pieces they'd have. They'd probably have to get rid of Chet, but it'd be incredible if they added someone like him to this mix.
If you're if you're at Milwaukee, you're gonna want some assets back. OKC has them.
Yeah.
They have some good players that they could develop and kind of keep them not as a competitor, but like keep them relative, bring fans in, having fans sit in the seats. I looked at this. I mean, if you're the Boston, let's bring Boston back into the equation. If you're Milwaukee and you just solely want the best player that you can get trading the Greek, is Jalen Brown trade more attractive than going like with the mid package talent wise from OKC, but the plethora of like picks? I don't know
I
which
don't
way.
even know if that's really on the table. If they would even trade between the two, that'd be awesome if they did. But I mean, getting someone like Jalen would be a better individual player than anyone that they would probably be able to trade.
I know we're on the NBA finals, but are you at all curious what Boston's going to do, where everything's going to go, how this is going to play out?
I'm super curious. I mean, like you said, you enjoy the team building part, so don't I. Because we're going to get through the finals in the next less than a week, and then we are. I think the free agency period kicks in around July 4th. At least that's what I remember. Because I'll never forget the July 4th I spent checking my phone like every 10 seconds for KD news. Brady had just been with KD up in upstate New York, and they were
Yeah.
courting him, and I'm just waiting for that news, and then he signed with Golden State. But yeah, so like we're gonna get through the finals, which is gonna be awesome, and then we're right into free agency and the draft and all the team building stuff, and the next thing you know, it'll be October again. So I look forward to all that stuff.
I'm thinking that they peel off. Somebody's going to want Drew. Somebody's going to want Hauser, and we need to figure out if we're re-signing Horford and Cornette. There's some weirdness going on with our roster.
Yeah, again, the whole second apron thing and how we can make trades and what we have to get back in return makes me wonder what true moves are on the table, because there's the draft machine on the ESPN website. There's all these people talking about it, but I don't think anyone's really experienced this yet to
Yeah.
see like what makes sense, what teams are willing to do. Like in my eyes, there's a world where we're not able to make some of the trades that we would have wanted to or been able to in the past.
One last thing on the Greek. 2 years
Yep.
older than Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown just turned 28. The Greek's a little bit over 30 years old. Let's say that the Celtics pull that off. Do you like the move?
Giannis is like a one of a kind guy. He's been incredible in his career. I remember when we played Milwaukee in the playoffs a few years ago, and it was like, dude, you just get the ball to him down low. He'd tilt his shoulder in towards the hoop, and he was basically unstoppable. 30 years old is a thing, though, So
No.
a guy his size, does he start to slow down, lose a step? Yeah. At the same time, everyone seems to be taking care of their body pretty well nowadays. So
Yeah.
30 maybe is like the old 26 or something like that. So I don't know. I'd probably like it more than I wouldn't, but man, it would be sad to have Jalen leave.
It would feel like KG coming in all over again for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, fireworks this offseason. Could you jeez and crow. OKC wins it, and then all of a sudden they get the Greek. That's crazy.
Yeah. If getting back to the Celtics real quick though, if we traded Jalen, it would have to be for someone like that. There's some talk about a Houston trade and getting some of their young pieces, maybe some draft capital. It's like, dude, from a team building perspective, maybe that's good, but just for like how I feel about it, it's not
Yeah.
great. So I hope that that's not what happens.
Well, I had texted you and your brother the other day. You never want to send out the best player in a trade. You want to receive the best player. And I think in that Houston scenario, Jalen's the best player going out.
Yeah.
You don't want
So
that.
NBA. Well, let's get back to the finals real quick though. So, are you cool with OKC winning? Like, is that like how do you feel about that? Is that weird?
I I hate to admit, I had to look up OKC on a map the other day.
That's concerning.
It's very concerning. I just, their team is into it. Their crowd is into it. When you watch their games, their crowd is annoyingly amazing. Yeah, I guess I am. I mean, it's not like, what I actually never liked was Miami. Like, I just picture a bunch of people going to a basketball game because it's super fun to show up at some point in the second quarter, wear your sunglasses, your ripped jeans, have your models next to you, and just pretend you're a fucking basketball fan. Like, that's something that I would have never appreciated for Miami. Okay, see, I'm into it. How about you?
I am too. I'm happy. It's like it's the thing. Like this puts OKC on the map in big team sports in the country, and I know their fans are definitely into it. So for that reason, I would be happy for them. Obviously their first championship. It is kind of funny to me. I think sometimes people forget that OKC is the Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah. Yep.
So Seattle does have one NBA championship in the 70s. Does OKC try to make this their second championship, or do they
Right.
celebrate it as their first? Because I know the Lakers would celebrate it as their second championship.
We have to stop this. Now, all of these Lakers fans, it was Minneapolis Lakers. It was not the Los Angeles Lakers.
They
You
took
just,
them all with them, Beds. They took
what?
them to LA and made it one of their championships. So is this OKC's second championship, or is it their first?
It's, I mean, the answer is one, right? I mean,
Well,
but
it's 100% one. I feel like the NBA should rule on this, and they should
yeah,
say, Lakers, let go of those championships. They're not yours.
yeah, they're not.
Or you do say, oh, this is OKC's second because you either the team's history from where they were previously located either follows to the new place or it doesn't, you know? But that is a thing.
Okay, let's move Boston's ownership, the Celtics and everything, and put them in Indiana. Indiana.
Yeah.
Indiana with no, now they have 18.
Yeah.
It makes zero fucking sense.
We're on the same page. It's
Okay.
obviously their first one.
Okay.
So,
All right.
draft coming up. The draft is coming up on the 25th, which I believe is next Wednesday, 8:30. Are you excited for the draft, or what are your thoughts on the draft?
Yeah, fireworks. Fireworks. I mean, obviously Cooper Flagg, but this is actually a pretty deep draft. And there's a lot of, actually, before I go, could you have imagined if San Antonio landed that first pick? I was sitting there with Greek, the kid they got last year or this year, and if they were able to get Cooper Flagg, that's sort of like that Penny Hardaway Shaq run that
Yeah.
Magic have. That was really close. I actually texted a Spurs fan, and I'm like, your heart must have been pumping. But
Dude,
yeah,
I was hoping that he would end up on the Spurs because I think that would be a ton of fun to have them playing together. But yeah, Spurs are in the second spot, Sixers are in the third, Hornets are in the fourth, Jazz in the fifth. So it sounds like there could be some moves. Ace Bailey's a big prospect, Dylan Harper. I mean, I'd be interested to see if that top five stays in that order and they make picks because it'd be kind of cool to see some trades happen, especially the Spurs. There's talk of Giannis as a potential destination for them are revolving around that number 2 pick as well, which could be interesting. Giannis and Wembanyama.
the teams and the depth in this draft, it's going to be interesting 1 to 5. Are you okay with Cooper going to Dallas? Like, are you okay with this?
Compared to what it could have been, again, I would have liked him to be the Spurs, but like if you wound up with the 76ers, I just feel like there's bad vibes around that team and that organization. Would have been not a great spot for him. Hornets, as much as I'd love to see, friend of the pod, Josh Longstaff, get a chance to coach him.
Yeah.
I just don't. It doesn't feel like a real basketball destination. And then seeing him out in Utah too, I wouldn't have felt great about that. It doesn't seem like a real destination either. So I think Dallas is a very interesting spot for them with AD, with Kyrie eventually coming back, Clay. Like, could be fun to throw him in the mix with some of those guys.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
dude, I'm all in on Flagg, man. I can't wait. I'll watch next week. Like, I hope he has a freaking awesome career. So I'm
Okay.
all in.
Because you say that, I'm kind of curious. What do you think his stats look like next year? It's let me reposition this. If I said the over under is 17.5 for points per game, are you going over or under?
I take slight over that.
Yeah, I think he hits in the 19 area. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know that he's strong enough yet to be a consistent 22 to 25 point scorer. He's going to bang a couple games just because they're going to be average and he's going to get the opportunity to shoot a lot. But I think he's going to have to get a little stronger. But man, that package is there. So, all right, rebounds, 8.5, under over.
I would say slightly over. Like that 9 range seems. I mean, it seems silly to pick over half a rebound, but yeah, if I had to guess, I'd take the slight over that.
And then
He's a good rebounder. He's tall. Like he goes
yeah.
after the ball. I mean, I know these are NBA players. It's different than college, but he's a competitor, dude. I wouldn't bet against him getting 9 rebounds a game.
Okay, one more thing. So I read somewhere that one of the coaches said statistically, if you are a guy that averages over 4.5 assists per game, there's this flow metrics that they have if a basketball player is productive and just your team flow, catching guys on cuts like you're supposed to, just a team player type. Think Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, guys like that pass the ball really well. Is Cooper a 4.5 assist or more guy?
Obviously, rose-colored glasses for Flagg, so it's like silly for me to keep saying over. But like, dude, his passing is like one of the best aspects of his game. And 4.5 assists is not that much on a team that has some of the guys on his team. I know Kyrie's not going to be back day one, but like 4.5, yeah, dude, I'll take the over on that.
I know that there's a couple guys that have told me that listen to this pod that are connected to the Cooper Flagg family. I'd be curious to know if we're right with this. With my thought is that I know that Cooper likes Bird. Is that because of his dad or his mom? Was Bird just talked about in that house so often? And with today's social media, Cooper's just sitting there in the lab, just watching Larry Bird highlight after Larry Bird highlight. Because there are times when Cooper makes a pass or makes a dribble drive move or pulls off a dribble where I'm like, man, that looked like Larry.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd like to think that because you can see some of the similarities. Larry has some of the best highlights. It's so fun to watch his highlight tape.
I could go all day.
Yeah. But I know what I'm looking forward to with Cooper is you're going to see his body the way it is as a Duke player as his first year in the NBA, but like in 3 or 4 years, like you. It's like it reminds me of what the Tatum nowadays versus his rookie year looked like. He was just like a
Yeah.
skinny kid. Like he's gonna be well defined, hopefully, like and actually have his final NBA body. It's gonna be awesome.
Will there be a trade in the top five that just has us like, wow?
Yes.
I think this is the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so too.
I think this offseason is going to be pretty interesting. I'd like one sort of circle it back to the Celtics with that Bane trade. Don't you think Drew Holiday is that type of player for a team like a Houston that's looking for a veteran playmaker, can hit a couple jump shots, will play some defense. I love Drew, but I think we want to ship him out before we're watching the last 2 years of his career where he's only playing 45 games a season. I think it's
I
time
just
to move him.
I don't think he's in the same part of his career as Bane is, So he is a
Yeah.
great defender. He was a little bit hurt in the playoffs. I think he has some gas left in the tank, but I don't know that the return would quite be there. But I think we have to get rid of him as when we talk about people to get rid of, it's Drew and Porzingis are the guys that keep coming up, and then Jalen to be included in some of these bigger trades. But he seems like he's on that list of guys that's probably going to be gone.
I think it's Drew, Hauser, Porzingis, and I
Yeah,
think Porzingis might be a February guy during the
yeah.
season because I don't think he's worth much right now.
Um, Other offseason thing, it seems to be kind of a conversation around the league, is where KD's going to end up playing. First of all, is it weird to still care about KD? Is he still a guy that it really matters where he ends up going? Because there's a big conversation about where he ends up playing and his favorite destinations and all this stuff. But does he warrant that conversation anymore?
When you were younger, were you a Dominique Wilkins fan?
No, but obviously I was aware of him and the way he dunked and the way he played.
Just a volume scorer. You think of Dominique, you think of the Hawks, but from there, it was Orlando, the the Spurs, the Celtics. You
Mm.
start showing up on teams just to score your 20 points and you're not really relevant anymore. I don't know, man. KD, I wish he never ripped his Achilles. I guess it would have been cool if he stayed in Golden State because they could have had like a 4 or 5 more year run, which would have made him sort of a basketball Jesus. But no, I don't know how to articulate it with him. He scores a lot of points. It's fun to watch, but is he relevant anymore? Probably not.
Yeah. The teams that he wants to go to are the Spurs. It's his top choice.
Okay.
And the Heat, where everyone wants to go to the Heat. No taxes, good weather, plenty of ladies, and then the Rockets. So that's his wish list. It sounds like Minnesota could put a package, or I think Minnesota offered DiVincenzo and Randall maybe for him, and
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to play there. Knicks also want to put something together, but he doesn't want to play there either. But those seem to be the teams that are part of the conversation.
So those are good teams, and it's like I just kind of crapped on it. I think he makes this. I think he makes San Antonio better. I think he makes Houston better. In that list, what do you think is sort of the best move for him?
I mean, for the same reason I thought it would have been fun to have Cooper in San Antonio, I think that would be the one that would be the most appealing to me. Watching him play with Wembanyama, if they were somehow able to keep Darren Fox on the team as well, could
Yeah.
be cool. Because I mean, he's a good scorer. He's definitely like the last couple of years of his career, but he's a good player. I mean, end of the day, is Durant a top 20 NBA guy? I think a lot of people would say yes. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd give
Yeah.
him top 20.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty good. I mean, top 20 guy means it'd be cool to have him on the Spurs. But I think the Heat are not a competitive team. They're not in that cycle of competing. If it would be there, it would just be like a not a great way to end his career. And the Rockets seem to be up and coming, missing that veteran presence. But I wouldn't say Katie's a leader, so he's more of just a veteran presence than an actual veteran leader.
Part of me just wants to ask this random Golden State Warriors question. They landed Jimmy Butler. So
Mm-hmm.
I see like this KD conversation like a Golden State landing Jimmy Butler. Still can put up 20 points. He's 36 plus years old now. It's like
Mm-hmm.
how many more years are you going to get decent Jimmy Butler with Golden State? Is Golden State are we done with Golden State? We were just giving Curry props recently. It's like, is this it? Should Golden State move Curry?
It'd be wild if they did. I don't think they can. Just Curry doesn't go off like he used to, but he's still capable. A lot, again at a lot lower rate. But it would be hard to see Curry in any other jersey. Although there is talk of him finishing his career in Charlotte, where he's from. His brother plays there. I went to the last game of the season, and it was the Hornets in
Yeah.
Boston, and Del Curry was there. I guess Del Curry is some type of management person in the
Yeah.
organization, so that could be a fun full circle thing. But outside of that, man, it'd be hard to see him not in a Warriors uniform.
So,
Yeah,
offseason of the NBA is going to be interesting.
be fun. So that's pretty much all that I want to talk about. I guess we could probably spend like 2 seconds talking about golf because I did not watch much of it. But did you watch any golf this weekend?
Yeah, I thought the cuts, how they talked about how they did the grass off of the cut. I guess it was almost a 5 month process where they would cut it a quarter inch, if I heard that correctly, to get it to the height that they did, so it would not lay down. So a lot of times when you're cutting tall grass, it'll blow it down. This was like a progressive thing, and it was
Wow.
yeah, dude, it was really interesting to see those balls sort of just lose themselves in the grass. Okay, you and I play golf. There are times where we don't have a nice cut off of our fairways, and a
Yeah.
ball will be a quarter of the way in the grass, and you know what it does to us,
Yeah.
dude.
I
5.5 inches. I mean, that's nuts. Those guys,
Well, so you have the super long rough, and then you also have the lightning speed greens.
yeah,
DeChambeau said that a 20 handicap would shoot a 200 on this course or something like that.
yeah. I mean, it would be miserable. I'd probably walk off after four. I'd be like, I'm good.
You
I'm
say,
good.
"Oh, my back hurts," all this stuff, and then
Oh my God, I'd come up with some Achilles injury all of a sudden. Okay, so to be serious about it, I thought that it was pretty neat. Like I did a sheet and I said the winner would be -2. I was close.
was it -3?
Yeah, dude, those I think it's impressive that somebody shot below par on this course.
So one thing I didn't love and prevented me probably from following more on Sunday was just who the guys were in that last couple groups. Just wasn't any big names. Did that matter to you?
I love golf now, so it not as much as it would have years in the years past. I admire really good golf now, but it would have been nice. It would have been nice for some of the big names to get there. Dude, I want to see a tournament where it's like Scotty. I want Justin Thomas in it. I want Spieth back in it. I want Uncle Phil to have a throwback day. I don't think we're ever getting anything out of Tiger ever again unless he just gets on the TB12, pliability thing and stops training like a middle linebacker. It would be nice to have like a unicorn.
Some of the old guys, though.
Yeah.
That would be a fun group.
Yeah.
I think I'm a Bryson guy, though, now, so I would love to see him, and I love to see him compete. Even I like seeing Brooks's name in the mix, although I'm not a big Brooks guy, but seeing him in there and Fowler get some action. But yeah, it was just I think it was Hovland that was kind of in there in that 4th, 5th place, at least when I was watching. Would have liked to see him make a move to the front, but Spawn ended up winning it. That putt was pretty ridiculous at the end.
Yeah.
Like, really ridiculous.
Dude, an amazing weekend of golf. Those guys are insanely skilled.
And now we're only left with, the Open Championship as the last major of the year?
Yeah, already.
Dude, seems like just the other day that we were freaking watching the Masters.
I know you wanted to wrap up.
Yeah.
Okay? I have 2 quick things that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Are you looking at your watch right now? Because I need you to focus. I know you have a tight schedule. I'll make it quick. Number 1, what's it like for you to be on the better side of the Biddeford-Saco pickleball scenario we have with Daly and Dupree? Number 1.
My favorite. I'm going to pull this clip right out of the podcast, throw this on Facebook. I love it. It's how we do it, man. Biddeford dominates Saco again.
Yeah. And then number
What are your
2.
thoughts on it?
It's Daly. He is doing an amazing job of keeping his head together.
Is he?
Oh,
He's doing it. No one's gotten hurt yet.
Poor Dupree. When Daly's going into Daly mode, I always look at Dupree to see what level of nervous Dupree is. I can't pile on Daly too bad because, we just clearly need to play more because I'm not making plays that I should either. So
that's all it is. Daly's going to be freaking awesome at pickleball. So glad that we're all playing. So,
yeah,
but it is nice to be able to get some wins under our belt now because we'll need them as the months and years go on.
Yep. And then, so number 2, the girls, your girls. Where are you at with things? Talk to me. Give me a broad stroke of what your life is.
Yeah, I'll give you a quick update, man. We're in All-Star season right now. Aubrey is on the majors team. Ellie's on the minors team. So we're just like softball day and night, multiple practices. We had a game last night for majors. Aubrey's team beat Saco 14-3, which is awesome. Bats were alive. We had some weird plays happen against us that I think are good learning experiences that we'll be able to talk about at practice today and tomorrow. Our next game's Thursday against either Wells or Noble, which is great. And then we'll be playing into next week and to start facing some really tough teams. Ellie's first game's on Saturday. It's the younger kids, so you never know what you're going to get out of them, but it's all great experience to compete against other people that you're going to be competing against, through middle school and high school and all that stuff. Some great memories for sure.
Sweet. So I think I heard Biddeford beat Saco.
They did again, yeah. So we're on a little bit of a run right now.
Yeah, nice. That's
and then Biddeford, I mentioned this to you walking up, but Biddeford baseball is playing TA tonight in the Western Maine Championship at St. Joe's, which I'll be going to that game. So Coach Keith LeBlanc, my boy, his daughters are on our majors team. So we're all going to go up there and support them. So hopefully get another Biddeford win tonight too.
Nice. Have fun.
So, all right, buddy. That was a good talk, pal. We'll do it again next month. See what we have in store for the Red Sox and the Celtics and Cooper Flagg, all that stuff. We'll talk more next month.
It's going to be a banger.
All right, bud. See ya.
All right, see ya.